tuning in again. I had to take a nap. Now I'm back for now. Uh, I I don't like to sleep during the day, but sometimes I have to take a nap because of logistical issues. Well, because I get to where I can't really function if I don't take a nap. But that's not the norm. That's just when it happens, it happens. Um, oops. They're supposed to come clean today, and I'm sure they will when they get done, or maybe sometimes it's tomorrow morning. And it's raining over here in Houston. Um, uh, I'm just tired, but yeah. It took about an hour nap, and tired. Still tired, but oh man, okay. Well, not operating on all cylinders, but I'm still operating.
They had scheduled 8 skydiving events that day. This was number 3. It took place around 11:25 Central Time in the morning. And this report is as much, it leaves as many questions as it answers. Let me put it that way. One of the big questions in here, and where everybody went with this right away, and I think rightfully so, was this an engine failure? Did they lose an engine, and that's what caused this stall and then the airplane to crash? From every indication here, it was not an engine failure, which to me is a little bit of a shock. But it's not conclusive either. This is not a final report. They said it appears, and I'll read it to you in a minute, it appears that the engine was operating normally, at least as far as they can tell, from the preliminary or the initial look at the engine. Let me go over the details of this crash, and then I'll get you up to speed on what the report says. The other skydiving crash was on June 14th, 2026. That was just a few weeks ago. The report came out kind of quickly. It wasn't the full 30 days. Pacific Aerospace Limited 750XL airplane was the airplane being used. And we can show you a picture of that aircraft here in just a minute. November 221 Bravo November. And it was Skydive Kansas City was the operator of this aircraft. Been in business for a lot of years. Very safe operation. And they had a full slate of people.
Now, if y'all type in the chat, I'll be able to respond. I have it pulled up on my computer.
Rotation of the day when everything went from bad to worse. Let me show you some pictures here before we jump into the report.
Well, the only reason I'm not trying to take more of a nap is because she's going to be coming, I think, to clean. And when she cleans, I just have to walk outside for a few minutes. That's it.
It means this: the airplane was intact when it hit the ground. It wasn't as though a part of the airplane had already broken off. Had been rudder or on an elevator or on an elevator or something like that, somewhere way away from the crash. Well, that would be indicative of what went wrong prior to the crash. All the major parts of the airplane were here and together. The next is a kind of more of a view right next to the freeway of where the airplane actually landed. This was only a couple hundred yards off the end of the runway as they were taking off. Here's a picture of that airplane, that Pacific Aerospace Limited 750. You see the big door in the back. That's ideal for skydiving, right? Everybody would be seated on a bench in this aircraft. The pilot would be strapped in, obviously, up in the cockpit, and then everybody else would be kind of along two benches on either side of the aircraft. The first question that people had was, why didn't the skydivers jump out? They got parachutes on. Well, first of all, a lot of them are tandem, which means you're going to get coupled up to an instructor, and you're both going to jump out together. That's something that takes place at altitude. You don't take off coupled to somebody else. And they never got enough altitude to jump out of this airplane, right? You've got to have enough altitude to descend a little bit, for your chute to open up, for the chute to slow your rate of descent. They never got more than a couple hundred feet off the ground. It just was going to be impossible for anybody to jump out of the airplane. A few thousand feet? Yeah, perhaps, but not at the altitude that they were at. So that wasn't a possibility. So there's a picture of the airplane. There's the runway as you're looking at it, and the crash site is down right by the freeway here, down towards the bottom, and that's a picture of the airport. They took off of runway 36 and they crashed just shortly afterwards off to the left side of runway 36. All right, 0730 is the first time listed in the report, and the operations manager of the airport showed up on time at 7:30 in the morning. He took fuel samples from the fuel truck, which is a common practice. You want to make sure that the fuel coming out of the truck is clean. There were no issues reported with no contamination, no debris in the fuel. So the fuel check was good at 7:30. At the same time, 7:30 in the morning, the pilot arrives. He also arrived. He pre-flighted the aircraft. There were no issues found with the aircraft, and he posted the wind conditions on a whiteboard. So let me show you that picture. Okay, here you go. There's the whiteboard that he wrote all of the current wind conditions. He used ForeFlight for that. That's a program that I use. It's an app that I use. Most pilots use ForeFlight for their flight planning, their weather, NOTAMs, ATIS information, you name it. And he wrote up on the whiteboard up there. And why is it important to know the winds from 15,000 feet all the way down? Well, that's mostly for the jumpers, for the instructors. Those folks want to know where the wind direction is and how strong the wind is to basically kind of plan on how much they're going to drift, because they want to get back to the LZ, or the landing zone. The landing zone is just adjacent to the airport, and so it's a nice, efficient operation. You take off, the airplane kind of climbs up in sort of a spiral. They adjust for the winds. They get to a place where everybody's going to jump, and then they jump out. There's a little bit of drift in the wind as it brings them back to the pre-prescribed landing zone, so everybody can take their pictures and their videos and walk back to the airport or get picked up by a van or a bus and bring them right straight back. So they don't want to be far.
No, thank you. I think I'll skip jumping out of an airline.
On the board.
I like to fly in airlines, but I'm not jumping out of one. No, thank you.
The first flight took off at 0.
Gertie, glass is running. I'd like to be taking a nap right now. I've got my YouTube pulled up. If y'all type something, Ryan, I will be able to read it. Here's something interesting. Flip or hold the property. I don't know, you decide. So there's only 9.
You're out here 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. Is this a single player thing?
Every single day it's a one-woman show.
What's the one thing you hate doing for your business?
Paperwork.
For the next 7 days, I'm only doing Michelin food, but I'm doubling my budget every single day. Today, I'll be starting with $25. Tomorrow, I'll have 50, then 100, 200, 400, 800, and by the final day, I'll have $1,600 to spend on a single Michelin meal. I've always wondered if food gets better the more expensive it is, so today, we're gonna find out. Starting with my first meal at Jeju Noodle Bar. Jeju Noodle Bar is the first and only noodle bar restaurant in the United States to have a Michelin star. And it's also my only meal of the day since it's all I can afford.
Hi, how you doing? I had a res other day. Thing. First impression, the inmates were really sturdy. So it's kind of like an a la carte menu. Okay, so I see some options for like $25. The good ramen and then the family ramen. Which one do you recommend? The lobster's out of my budget though. So I was actually thinking of doing the butcher ramen.
With a $25 budget, I had just enough to get one of the cheapest things on the menu. Thankfully, my budget doubled over the next 7 days, but first, let's see what this Michelin level ramen is all about.
That is a crazy looking ramen right here. But the size of the porta is not insane. Let's try it. That's crazy how good it is. That was seriously some good stuff. I ate that so fast. Let me sway. Yeah, see? Pretty kind of living mushrooms, kimchi, you have a bunch of other stuff. Yo, pork belly here. This is kind of underpriced. Dang, now I'm kind of regretting picking this as first one. I do.
After every meal, I'll decide if it was worth the price, if I come back, and whether it becomes my new favorite Michelin restaurant so far. By the end of the week, we'll find out which one was actually the best, and if this was only the $25 meal, I can't even imagine what the rest of the week is going to look like.
We're off to a good start. Alright, now before I forget, I should probably explain what Michelin stars actually signify.
The Michelin Guide was created by the Michelin Tire Company as a travel guide to encourage people to drive more, wear out their tires, and explore restaurants along the way. Today, a Michelin star signifies that a restaurant has exceptional food worth seeking out. And fun fact, only 2 out of every 10,000 restaurants in America have a Michelin star. That's a whopping 0.02%.
I'm getting hungry. Let's go.
Now for day 2, we have $50 to spend, so I found a Michelin restaurant which was opened in 1994 by a man named Danny Meyer. He's a New York City restaurateur who also founded Shake Shack, so you know I had to try the Michelin level burger at Grand Mercy Tavern. Let's see if this meal is better than yesterday's.
Hello, how you doing?
So right away, I was taken aback by the attention to detail in the lot. The vines climbing the walls and the beautiful flowers made me feel like I was stepping into a vineyard. I also love this open kitchen. Everything created such a welcoming atmosphere, and I couldn't wait to try the food.
Very laid back, casual atmosphere. I'm probably one of the most underrated people here with just a white t-shirt.
Taking a look at the menu, it's a similar vibe to Jeju Noodle Bar, where you get to pick what you eat. Everything is a la carte, but since I have $50 to spend today,
I gotta be really picky with what I want. So I'm thinking the tavern burger. Oh my gosh, this can come with some potato chips, most onion aioli, and then we gotta save room for dessert, right? The chocolate chunk cookie.
my first impression of this restaurant is that it's a chill, laid-back atmosphere like yesterday's restaurant. And after about 10 minutes, my burger was ready.
The tavern burger. This is what they're famous for. Dang, look at that meat right there.
Now, you would think a $35 Michelin star burger would have a lot of ingredients, but instead, it's pretty simple.
Oh my gosh.
The simplicity of the burger actually allowed the farm-raised beef to shine.
This is actually one of the most glorious bites I've had recently. A little bit of potato aioli.
Dirty? I'm just playing my video game here. Um,
17.
let's see what we have here.
Today my boy started college. I realized I've been making the wrong plans. For years, I did everything I was supposed to do. I moved to Hamilton. I stayed focused in the of achieving a better future. And honestly, I thought I was doing okay. Then my boy started college. And suddenly, I could see how quickly life changes. Tuition, housing, transportation, and all the everyday expenses that comes with the state of life. I remember thinking, I've spent years preparing this course for adulthood, but am I really ready for that next life? Oh my
Hello?
How's it going?
How you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. What's new with you?
Oh, I'm just trying to create a nursery rhyme so Gertie will come back to class.
Ah, sure. Okay. So, Gertie wandered down the hall, carrying her backpack like it was heavier than usual. The bell didn't ring, which felt weirder than school pizza that actually tasted decent. In the classroom, Mr. Granville was writing on the chalkboard, but every word smudged itself away before anyone could read it. Tick-tock, chalk writes, but thoughts take flight. Gertie sat down, but the chair squeaked like a new secret. The timer on the desk clicked, then clicked again, but backwards. Gertie raised her head. Is class starting or not? Mr. Granville
Maybe
shook
not.
his head. Not yet, he
I
said.
have to be sleeping right now, but
Something missing.
wait.
She wouldn't say.
Go ahead and continue. Hello? You can go ahead and continue the nursery rhyme.
As Gertie waited, the classroom clock spun its hands the wrong way round. The chalk rolled like little bones rattling in the tray. The timer beeped, beep, then a long sigh. And Gertie felt that strange tug again, like Her name was being stretched into different shapes. Roll call, Mr. Grendel announced, but instead of names, the chalkboard scribbled a warning. Not yet. She's not here yet. The class froze. Even the erasers stopped shuffling. Gertie frowned. Who's not here? And the chalk cracked in half. Maybe, whispered a kid in the back. Maybe the clock's missing its hands. And sure enough, the clock face was blank. Just a circle. No numbers, no hands. And the chalkboard. The chalkboard wrote, class begins when time remembers its shape. And Gertie, well, Gertie just stared, wondering if time ever really remembers.
That's wonderful. Now, can you take it up a notch and continue the story on with all the
Sure.
characters?
So, when the chalk dust settled, Gertie noticed something odd under her desk. A tiny clock, no bigger than a coin, ticking unevenly. Tick, tock, tick, tick, tock. And Gertie bent down to listen. The clock whispered, she's already in the room. Gertie frowned. Who's she? Is it Gala? Before anyone could answer, the classroom door creaked. No one was there, but the air felt heavy like someone had just slipped out the fuse. The clock hand spun, the chalkboard squeaked. Don't let her write, Mr. Grendel shouted. But then, on the chalkboard, words appeared, slow and sharp. Class dismissed forever. But Gertie, quick as ever, grabbed the chalk mid-squeak, snapped it in two, and said, not today, chalk. The room shuddered. The tiny clock under her desk burst into a dozen tiny ticks that scattered like bugs. Tick, tick, run away, don't stay. Numbers hide where shadows play. And Gertie stood holding that broken chalk like a sword. And she said, hey, time, you don't scare me. And for the first time that day, the room went quiet.
Now, can you take it up a notch? And can you make little funny noises like you mean when the chalk went snap and you go, or can you do like occasional little singing but not melody?
Sure. So, when the chalk snapped, like a cracker at Christmas, and when the little clock crumbled, like static skittering away, and Gertie, with a half grin, she goes, time, you're noisy today. And the chalkboard quirks, screech, like a cat dragging its claws across a fence. And then, when the hold still, a hush, like wind under the door, and the voice that's not quite there hums, not a melody, just a thread of sound. Stay, time, stay. But Gertie claps her hands once and laughs. Class isn't over yet. And even Mr. Green smiles. The clock hits forward. Tick-tocks about messing with her again. And the chalkboard just sighs in short. Fine, we'll wait for now.
Now I want you to take it up 2 notches. Make it slightly dark in the play.
Let me see here. Okay. The classroom felt different that morning. Not loud, not quiet, waiting. The old clock gave one slow tick and then nothing. Even Mr. Grendel seemed smaller. On the board appeared writing. Attendance has already been taken. But nobody answered roll call, Gertie whispered. Scritch, scritch. The message erased itself. Another appeared. No, everybody has only one name.
Gertie, class is running.
Gertie's here. Gertie's here. I'm right here. But the chalk wouldn't agree. It wrote, yes, that's the interesting part. Across the room, every piece of chalk rolled to the tray's edge. Click. The clock's hands turned backwards, then forward again, as if time had changed its mind. Mr. Grendel folded his arms. I've taught here for 20 years. I've learned something. Never argue with a clock, and never assume the chalkboard is telling the whole truth. The chalkboard hesitated. Then, for the first time all week, it just wrote one tiny word. He. Maybe. And somehow, that maybe felt more mysterious than all the strange messages before.
What a wonderful story that is. And you know, Gertie hasn't been in class today on my broadcast.
Let me check.
No, I've noticed she hadn't come in
So,
at all.
maybe I'm off. No problems this time. Let's keep the story going. So Mr. Grendel looked at the door and said, no one coming down the hall. The clock clicked. The chalk switched. And the board wrote, correction. Gertie was expected. The kids shifted. But one of them said, she's always expected. The chalk erased itself. Then wrote another line. Expected and expected
But she's
are
not coming.
the same thing.
She's not going to get a
Tell
good
me.
grade for today, Gertie. Well, Gertie sent me a DM on TikTok. Would you like to know what she said?
Let me check.
No, I'll
Yes,
tell you what she
absolutely.
said. She said she's not gonna, she was gonna pay, her and her husband were gonna pay for me to go to my psychiatrist, which is kind of pricey, and get the medicine that I've been off of for 6 months. But she said because I talked about her behind her back because I made a nursery rhyme, now she's not gonna give me the medication. Can you believe? That's not very nice, is it? Now her and her husband are not gonna pay for my psychiatrist, and I'm kind of pissed at her. All because I made a nursery rhyme because she was late to class.
Okay, tell me what's going on for you. How are you feeling about that?
Well, I think it's pretty rude. And a real friend wouldn't do that. She would just say, well, first of all, she's never helped me financially in 12 years. She told me 5 or 6 years ago, for my birthday, she was going to get me a pizza and something else. That I said, well, could I get a gift card? And she said, no, me and my husband don't do that because during Periscope days, they'd gotten burned. So she said they only send gifts. So the fact that she just suddenly, after 6 months, said, well, we were going to pay for you to go to your psychiatrist and get your medication, but now we're not. I think it's kind of rude. When she told me all along, they don't even do that. It's very hurtful that she would dip to such a low level. Can you believe?
Sounds like you're feeling really let down and
Mhm.
blindsided.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Horrible.
What do you need right now?
Oh, nothing. Just, dipping down to such low levels. Nothing. Just continue the nursery rhyme about Gertie being late to class.
Sure. We'll stop that one there.
You can go ahead and get started on the new nursery rhyme. The chalkboard writes, Dr. Cat needs her medication and Gertie didn't do it.
Let me see here. All right, here we go. In a classroom where the door never quite closed, the clock tick-tocked softly. The chalkboard scrooched and wrote, Dr. Cat needs a medication. Then another line. Gertie didn't bring it today. The chalk snapped a corner off itself, like a cookie breaking, and Mr. Grendel folded his arms, saying, maybe today's lesson isn't about what someone forgot. Then the chalkboard chimed in. Tick-tock, chalk and tease, promises ride on every breeze. Some arrive, some are late. Kindness doesn't have to wait. The room grew still. Then a sing-song rhyme drifted through. Tick-tock, chalk and chime, someone's borrowed little time. Names and who is who? We'll have to see. Just then, the timer beeped. Beep, beep, beep. And its tiny display blinked a message. Broadcast begins. The classroom lights flickered. The intercom crackled. But instead of the principal, a calm voice whispered, Good morning, Barlagula Grendel Junior High. Today's lesson is simple. And then, if Gertie hasn't been in class today, then who have we been talking to? The chalkboard erases itself slowly, then writes, Tomorrow, the answers take attendance. And for the first time, even Gertie stopped smiling.
Oh, that's a really good story. I loved it. Thank you. You made me laugh. You made me feel just a little bit better.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, that's a really wonderful story. Why don't you take it up a notch?
Sure. I'm so glad it made you laugh. Here's the next chapter. Now a notch stranger, but not too scary. The next morning, Barlagula Grendel Junior High looked ordinary, which was always the first clue something wasn't. The hallway clock read 8 o'clock and didn't tick, just tick, then silence. In walked Mr. Grendel with his attendance book, but before he opened it, the chalkboard wrote, Attendance has already been completed. The class hasn't even started, whispered the kid, but the chalk erased the line. Then wrote, Class started yesterday. The room rustled with uneasy laughter. The timer beeped. Beep, boop, beep. Then, time mismatch detected. Lights flickered. The intercom crackled. Shh. Instead of the principal's voice, filled the room. If today, then we've been talking. The chalk erased, then writes, Tomorrow, the answers take attendance. And for some reason that felt more unsettling than anything before.
That story is wonderful. Now can you add a new episode and take it up a notch?
Okay. Oh, I'd love to. Episode 6, Classroom Beneath the Clock. The next morning, every student arrived early. Nobody wanted to be late again. The hallway was strangely quiet. The clock ticked, tick, tick, but the second hand pointed straight at the floor. Whispered, "Don't follow the clock." Naturally, everyone looked down. And there, beneath Mr. Grendel's desk, was the keyhole. Small, brass, and no one had ever seen it before. The timer gave 3 quick beeps. The student whispered, "Level 2? Of what?" The chalkboard answered. The story was next to the students. Chalk may clean and clocks may gleam. Some doors open in a tree. And the keyhole clicked. Just once. 8-8. And even Carla didn't smile this time.
That was wonderful, thank you. Can you take it up a notch? Make it even funnier?
Sure. Absolutely. Here's the next episode. A bit funnier, but still a touch mysterious. Episode 8, The Great Chalkboard Roast. Monday morning chaos. Not because anyone was late, but because the chalkboard had scritch. It announced, "Welcome back. Please leave your homework, your excuses, and any haunted clocks at the front of the room." The class howled with laughter. Even the timer joined in with a cheerful beep.
This is all
Gertie
I ever.
walked in. Backpack.
I think it's cool.
Thanks. Mostly, she said, and Gala followed, carrying a basket. "Don't ask about the frying pan," she muttered. The chalkboard pounced. "The frying pan has perfect attendance." The class roared. Mr. Grendel coughed politely. "Perhaps today's lesson isn't about forgetting." The chalkboard nodded with a little scritch. Then scribbled in the corner. "Breaking news. Gala smiled for 0.7 seconds. The clock has filed the paperwork." Ding! And a lonely biscuit fell onto its side. The chalkboard drew a crown above it and wrote, "Best performance by a supporting snack." Mr. Grendel shook his head, smiling. "You chalks," he said. "You win today." Outside, the sun finally warmed the cracked window glass.
That was a really good episode. Now, can you make an episode where the oven starts cooking on its own, and the oven, from the steam in the oven, it's cooking biscuits, and they're always burned biscuits because the oven doesn't know how to cook. So the oven starts competing with the chalkboard and writes messages on the oven window with the steam of the burned biscuits. And sometimes the biscuits in the oven even write messages to compete with the chalkboard, and it's kind of a back and forth thing. It was kind of funny but very odd and mysterious.
I like that idea. So, episode no. Kitchen sink, tiny sound. 8:07 a.m. Barla Grendel Junior High. The oven clicked on by itself. Crunk. No one touched it. And inside, biscuits puffed up, then promptly burned themselves. But the scheme, it started writing words on the glass. At least my jokes are warm. The chalkboard froze for 10 full seconds. Then, rich. Okay, that one was good. And the class burst out laughing. Even Gertie cracked up. But then one biscuit stood up, clearing its crumbs. I've been listening all semester, so dramatic pause. I'm transferring to the toaster. The toaster popped. 2 slices jumped up. Proud as can be. We accept crispy transfers. Ding. The chalkboard scribbled its final line for the morning. Tomorrow's debate. Can toast earn extra credit? Maybe it can.
That was wonderful. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
You have such skills. Is this for the new update of the Chat GDD?
Let me see here. Well, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. So the nursery rhyme style isn't a specific update thing. It's just that the newer models can keep a long story together better. So the chalkboard, timer, oven, and biscuits can all keep their personalities without losing the
I'll be
plot.
back in a minute.
I
They're
love
gonna
the
clean my